romance is when you make someone feel like they're important.
Yeah. When one heart is connecting to another.
Exactly. And it's not, men and women can feel when something isn't romantic.
Yeah.
Someone may say, I'm doing this romantic thing, but it doesn't feel romantic. Right. So therefore it's not.
When I have it tough because if I do a gesture and my heart's not into it, you are very good at sifting that out.
Right. It doesn't mean I'm not appreciative,
but
it's just
hollow.
It's hollow. Yeah. And I'm like, it's great. I'll take it. But there's a difference between and Todd, this is just, a lot of this discussion is about accepting the human that you love. And you just aren't like that. You use humor to block vulnerable moments. You don't really speak romance all the time. Do you know what I mean? You're not like, that's not who you are.
Words are not my dominant love language.
And you're not like I told, because I went away this last weekend to do some writing, and I always have something on in the background. And I was really excited that where the house I stayed at, they didn't have a lot of like Netflix and stuff, but whatever, they had all the Twilight movies. So I haven't watched those in a long time. So they're on in the background. The reason women like Twilight, not everybody does. I'm not talking about it's great. It's not the best.
So don't be dogging Twilight.
Because people will be like, it's such a bad book. I get it. But the reason it got popular is because Edward speaks romance. And there's like a lot of, I'm here for you and I've been waiting for you and you're important to me. And that's why it's important.
You want to hear a scene?
Sure.
There's more. I know the consequences of the choice you make. I've lived through it. And to let you suffer that, you believe I have soul, and I don't. But to risk yours, just for the sake of never having to lose you, it's the most selfish thing I'll ever do.
So, sweetie, why don't you say that to me when I want to become a vampire?
First of all, I don't know what he's talking about.
She wants to become a vampire because she wants to be with him forever. And he loves her so much, he doesn't want her to lose her soul.
Sweetie, I would never want you to lose your soul. I'm all in on Edward's thing. I don't think I would say it the way. I'd be like, no, stay a human being.
You're like, no, let's just go play pickleball.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea. Gotta be honest with you.
And so here's the thing.
Well, even think of it, listen to the tone.
What I mean?
Oh, she's going to start talking now.
I know. Now it's going to be Bella talking about how she wants to be a vampire. She wants to be with him forever.
Okay.
And here's the thing. You do not need to be. The two examples that we use, Gen Xers, that Todd and I, because I'm not using new examples, but we use Twilight as Edward's over the top with his romance, right? Yeah. It's so intense. And then also Petrovsky, we've talked about him on Sex and the City, where the ick factor, where it's so much poetry that you're like, this doesn't feel real either. You want it to be authentic from the person that you love in their way. And I really do see all the way Todd loves. I'm not asking him to be different. I don't want anyone to read into this as I'm like, you're not doing enough. That's not it. It's just that sometimes I told him, I said, sometimes there's this line between what I need to hear and trusting that, not asking you to be different. I don't want you to be different.
Well, I think in an authentic partnership, it's necessary for one to ask for what they want.
And to be honest about something that hurts. And someone might just shut up about a partner saying something like, yeah, I dated this one girl and then 5 years went by and then I met another girl and I was in between there.
Yeah.
And somebody might just swallow that and be resentful or feel sad or make assumptions.
And instead,
and I'm like, no. Hey, I was in there.
Right.
And he'll be like, oh, I know. Mm-hmm. But then it's very,
but why am I not part of your
story? Like, makes where sense. Am I in there? And why? And is that is there something deeper there? Do you know what I mean? Because I don't question Todd loving me now, because he'll always say, but I love you now. I'm like, I know, like we are partners. I'm so set, but it's fun to talk about our history.
And for me to say it, talk about our history in the present moment in an authentic, honest way, which I didn't do 15 minutes ago on this podcast, which was I skipped over.
Isn't that funny that we're like talking about this and you did it again? And that is like that to me, it makes me sad because that's not my story.
Right.
I would never skip over Todd. Yeah. Todd was, and I dated people before Todd and after Todd, several.
Yeah.
And I would never skip over that part because meeting him was really influential. It was really a huge deal to me.
Yeah.
And he was very important to me. And so then you want that reflection.
Yeah, and as I try to dig deep, like, well, why would I skip over you? And maybe it's because you are my story. Like you are, like, to talk to you about you seems like you know who you are in my life.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's right. I'm literally trying to be like, Todd, why is this blind spot so glaring?
Right.
And that's one thing I'm thinking of. Like, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
Because
Like maybe you don't
why
feel
would
like
I tell you a
need to know.
story about you? Because
And
you're
that's
here.
romance, though.
And-
See, that's you're hitting it.
Right.
Is you tell people stories about them. That's why we tell our children stories about them.
Yeah.
Right. When our kids will be like, I remember when you used to dress up like this and look at this picture. Kids love to see themselves reflected.
I feel the need to embarrass myself one more time before
Okay.
we close out.
Okay.
What was the thing that I said to Jenny and John Zabrocki that time when we were telling them our story?
You said you said to me,
Yes.
I
Telling them
don't,
the story the one time I said to you.
you said, I don't want a girlfriend, but if I chose to have a girlfriend, it would be you, which was not
Sweetie, I
great.
think I remember Edward saying that to Bella. all the
Yeah.
time.
I'm not here for you, but if I wanted to be here for you, I'd be here for
All the
you.
romantic ones are saying this to me right now.
I think you just, and and I know that Todd explained to me that he said it's like this, there's blocks. And I think it's because romance is vulnerable. I think it's because it can be embarrassing. I think it can be because you don't have a lot of practice in it. And like historically, like it wasn't something, even though you always wrote me awesome letters. We're so old that we didn't have phones. So Todd would write me these really long letters and they were funny. And he would say, I miss you. So you have it.
I have it, but here's the thing. I wrote you the letter because I missed you and you weren't there. And there was no text or email at
Right.
the time. So the only way to communicate, this is not hard. All I have to do is write you letters from a heart-centered place and you will appreciate that.
Right.
And my stupid, logical, practical part of my brain is like, well, why would I do that? We live together.
And I don't really need a letter
No,
right now.
I
I
know.
don't need anything like that. I don't need proof.
Yeah.
I just, when we're out having a drink at a bar and we're talking about our story, want you to remember.
I gotta put my Edward on. I gotta get my Edward game going. Who's my best role model? Edward? Or is he too much?
Oh, he's too much,
Give me
but
a-
he's
give me
got,
a-
you could get a little of
Just
him.
a little sprinkling of Edward.
Just watch any TV show where a man's, you're the person I've been waiting for. Meeting you changed my life. The way that I feel when I'm around you, any TV show, Todd, any movie, anything like it, that's
I
what.
know, but that's too ambiguous. Like I
I
need,
know, but see, then I'm telling you who to be, and that's got to come from you.
I have one other
I'm
culturing.
scared.
Here we go.
Oh, when it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour
Right.
to order it. I love that you get a little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts. I love that after I spend a day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And
Right.
I love that you are the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night. And it's not because I'm lonely, and it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
Improv.
Yeah.
That was improv. Yes. And nothing in there is, you're the most beautiful woman in
Right,
the
it's
world.
not cheesy.
It's not cheese. It's stuff. And that's, I feel, and again, you're not a words person. I got to go to yoga. So I've got to finish with
Yeah.
this. But I feel like I say that with you all the time. Like I love when you say stuff like that. I love when you get into a game. I love that you love sports. I tell you things about you, not things I wish you were doing, but things I love about you. I love that you're wearing that stupid purple headband. It's you.
Sweetie, why do you think it's stupid?
Because why it's not even on right.
What do you mean? It's unperfect. It keeps the hair out of my.
I know. But anyway, I love you.
I love you too.
I
babe.
have to go. Everybody have a good week and we'll talk to you more later.